1 second. Check on my old tablet here to make sure we're actually broadcasting to the wide world of people who won't give a fuck. Oh yeah, sure enough, look at that. Alright, and we're live, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello.
Hey everyone, well, I'd like to welcome you to Social Infrastructure, podcast about EVE Online, brought to you by the State Fair Alliance. The State Fair Alliance is an alliance I'm personally in, and we'll be covering its progress at the end of every episode.
On this podcast, we will be talking to small and medium-sized corporations, their alliance directors, and we're going to find out how they got their start in EVE, what they're currently doing now. Then in future episodes, we'll go check back up on them and see how they're doing. You can find us on Discord at Social Infrastructure Podcast or on Twitch. With us today is the alliance director of State Fair Alliance. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Mr. Doughboy. Glad to have you, man.
Yeah. Longtime personal friend. Thought it'd be fitting for you to be the first episode on the podcast here. And this is definitely going to be our first podcast, and we're going to fumble through this one, but bear with us, and who knows, we might get better over time. So I guess, unless you want to give a little introduction, kind of get into the first question, which I think is going to answer most of those questions anyway. Why don't you just give us a brief history on how you got started in EVE and how you became the director of the Alliance here now at State Fair?
Okay, yeah, thanks for having me. I'm Doughboy61. I've also been known as Lynn Diesel and a couple other names, but I started playing EVE in September of 2010. I saw an ad on the side of a website for EVE, and I was like, hey, I like internet and I like spaceships, so let's combine the two. So I downloaded it, and back then there was absolutely no how-to, no tutorials, nothing like that. So I just kind of muddled my way through and got into a couple of new guy corporations, and then made some really bad fits and got blown up, and then got in with some cool corporations and started learning. And I just kind of floated around for a couple of years.
What made you want to start an alliance and become, the director of it?
I have actually made 3 alliances now. The first one was called, my first alliance, it was called Le Pac de Loup, or the Brotherhood of the Wolf, and it was a Caldari militia faction warfare alliance. And I just wanted to bring a bunch of corporations together. So I just wanted other people to play with, so I was like, well, shit, I'll make my own alliance and have people come join me and do it that way. So that's why I started, just to bring people together.
That's really awesome.
Yeah. So yeah. Yep, I've known, yeah, as far as that tutorial goes, got the wife actually to try EVE for the first time today, and it's better. It's still lacking a lot.
I feel like from what it used to be, it's 10 times better.
It's
just all of it's so good.
Yeah, it's definitely better. The tutorial, kind of how to click in space and overview is way better, and then they still just dump you off in space. Here you go.
Run your starter missions, and that's it. You're out of the nest.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. I've never played a game in my life with such a steep learning curve. Like, literally, do one thing wrong and you're exploded.
Oh, yeah. And no explanation of how that happened. I guess that's kind of the lure of it, though.
What do you want out of your current alliance? Like, what are your goals?
Well, for State Feral, it's sort of a different monster than anything I've ever made before. Both of my first 2 alliances were faction warfare based, so it was just, for them, it was building an army, right? I wanted to bring a bunch of people together, and then I wanted to take those people and smash them into other groups and explode them. This one is more, I'm trying to drive a community. I model it kind of off of Spectre Fleet, where they bring a bunch of different groups together, they have a common interest. For Spectre Fleet, obviously, it's to blow people up. For Stay Feral, what I'm really trying to do is just bring everyone together, whether you like industry, PvP, PvE, if you like wormholes, whatever it is. I want to bring those people together to enjoy the game, because like I like doing all of those things, and I don't like to narrow my focus. And I know there has to be other people like that like to do wormholes one day, and then the next day they want to do relic sites, and then the next day they want to do Alpha Thrasher Fleet. So I just wanted to create a place where people felt comfortable doing whatever they want.
Yeah, and that's definitely, I've had a lot of fun with it. It's been surprising. We've really gotten corporations from kind of every facet. It's kind of been cool to see everyone get together, but yeah, everyone's been getting along pretty good. Those wormhole guys are always kind of tucked away in there, but they've been poking their head out every now and then, popping out in our little low sec pocket.
I absolutely love my wormhole bros, because we're currently staged in the low sec area that's pretty remote, and I can always count on them getting me a shortcut to Jita.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So like the content you guys are providing is, all of it, on the industry side, the PvP into it as well, and then there's the more advanced stuff like wormhole diving. And I feel like that's, a lot of groups kind of tend to lean towards one or the other. Like from the alliances I've been in the past, you may have like a small sect of PvPers or a small sect of industry, but it seems like the type of people you guys are trying to attract are like all across the board.
Yeah, absolutely. I love those groups that are really focused, right? Like you've got your Sov Null guys that they fight for their space, and that's fantastic. But it always seems like there's an odd man out. Like, yeah, there's a guy that likes to go do PvP stuff, but he's kind of the pariah when he wants to go just run missions or mine or whatever. And I look at it as kind of a team mentality with State Feral, where I don't really care what you do today or tomorrow or the next day. You're part of our group. If you mine today, well then help me build something tomorrow. Like if you're mining for something and you're building me ships that I can go explode, or you build a ship that you can go fly tomorrow, that's fantastic. We're all pulling in the same direction.
Yeah. Well, and I think one thing cool that, especially with, the wormholers are the best example. It's been neat, and I hope we can continue this, just how everyone is acting independently. Especially the wormholer corporations. They're almost a small alliance in themselves. Yeah, we're letting everyone still kind of do their own thing, but when we want to have that little bit more content that these smaller groups individually can't do, it's been fun.
Absolutely, and that's the other thing with I've always ran a smaller corporation, like less than probably 30 was the highest my corporation ever got to. And sometimes that's problematic in finding content, is you may log in and you have one or two dudes on, depending on time zone. But in an alliance like the one that we have right now, I've logged in for the last 5 days and I've had no less than 10 people, sometimes 20, 25. So as an individual corporation, that can be really problematic for keeping people engaged and finding content. But in the alliance, it's easy. You just drop a "Hey bro" in alliance chat and we're off to the races.
Yeah. So speaking of that, still looking to expand? What are you looking out of pilots or corporations that they're looking to join the alliance?
Yeah, we are still actively recruiting corporations. In the last couple of weeks, we've added 10. So it's been really awesome. We went from 0 members or 1 member to over 100 members, which is awesome. We're expanding really quickly. We're getting all of our logistics in place, but yeah, we are still actively recruiting individual pilots for corporations. We're actively recruiting corporations for the alliance. We don't have any requirements, so it's not like you're going to join the alliance and I'm some authoritarian dictator. You get to keep your leadership. You do what you want. I just say, hey, we're going to post fleets. If you want to come fleet up with us, do it. If you don't, if you want to go do your thing, that's fine. But at the end of the day, you're part of our alliance, man, so we're going to back you.
Yeah. And everyone, like you said, I kind of noticed, in the start, our Discord, was slowly started getting people trickling in there, and then over time, one guy from a wormhole corp would be in, and then the next day would get 1 or 2 more. And here in the last couple days, everyone's kind of been getting in there, and I think now that we're knowing each other and kind of jiving a little bit, yeah, seeing our Discord numbers really jump up and starting to get some people out in our, populating our area space, because we kind of are a little bit, off the beaten track.
Yeah, for sure. There's always that tentative time in the beginning where people are kind of feeling each other out, and then you realize we're all in it. We're all doing the same thing. We're building stuff, blowing stuff up, and talking shit. So everybody's getting real friendly.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, I feel like you kind of already answered this question, but what are you looking for content? It's kind of weird asking these questions because I have a pretty good idea myself, but let you speak for yourself.
Yeah, I think you and I have known each other for, almost 10 years.
Yeah, getting close.
Bit. It's a good bit.
Yeah, it's a good bit. We've been flying since Caldari days, so.
Yeah.
So, sorry, your question was what am I looking to do for the future?
Yeah.
I want to keep pushing the community aspect of this alliance, bringing more people in. The more people we have in the alliance, the better the content, the more fleets that we can provide. I'm trying to provide a service to our members, and make community, because that's how we're going to keep people engaged and retain people. I want people to log into EVE and think it's a good time and learn. I'd really like to start bringing in more new guys, because when I started, I had no idea what to do in the game, and I spent most of my time just getting blown up by people that liked blowing me up. And I would like to try and train some new people on what they enjoy in EVE. So if they like PvP, man, I've been doing it for a while. I'm not the best, but I can certainly show you the right direction. And we have different groups in every aspect of EVE in our alliance, so I can find somebody that can help them.
Yeah. Yep. For sure. Yeah.
Did you have like a timeline of I would like this many corps or this many members at this time, or just kind of like goals you're aiming for?
Yeah. So last week I was talking to Kyle, and I told him, I'm like, dude, I'm gonna do a real gnarly recruitment push this next week, and I was like, I'm gonna give myself 7 days to get 10 corps, and he was laughing, like, okay, good luck. And I spent hours reaching out to people, and I'll be damned. I think on Sunday night I was like, I got it.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit hard, like doing 10 corps in 7 days, but I think I'm gonna slow down, focus on the dudes that we got, and then maybe get a couple more in the next couple of weeks. But over the next 6 months, I'd like to get 20, 25.
Yeah, and yeah, I remember when you told me that, I was like, I started a new corp in the alliance myself, and kind of started to recruit, but put a Reddit post out here and there, and I don't know, I might be at 3 people right now. So when I know how hard it is to pick people up, and when you told me that goal, I was like, hey man, it's good to have a goal and shoot for the moon, and then every day I was like, got 2 more, got another one. It's like, oh, okay.
The thing is like, Levi, you were the one that actually got me into the game. You held my hand when I was a new bro, and now I'm the pilot I am today. I'm doing good. And back then, it was just us kind of getting members slowly but surely. But kind of what Doughboy's talking about, we built that community, and we built off one another, and we're all of us grew. We're all super huge PvPers now, and we're bloodthirsty, can't get enough.
Yeah, hopefully you can continue that on. Yeah, I'm going to try to do kind of like a new player training program kind of with my corp to kind of show people that, that are younger, that they can make it out in low-sec. Seems pretty scary to most people, but just another day.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Once you get used to it.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely spot on with that, man. We all started this game, and then I think at a certain point we found a community, whether it was the corporation you're in, the alliance, your subsect, like if you're a PvP guy, your PvP is your community, right? But you make friends, and I've definitely made a lot of like really good friends in my time in EVE, and that's what keeps me coming back to it. And so that's what Stay Feral was about. Is I thought about my time in EVE, what was the best part of it, and it was building a community and making friends. So like, I'm going to make an alliance based upon that principle and see how it works. And so here's the experiment.
Yeah, for sure. And EVE, who are we joking? If there wasn't the people in EVE, it'd be a pretty terrible game. It'd be so boring. And yeah, those communities,
For
you know,
sure.
with the things that get
This is a very social game.
Oh,
very,
man.
very social game.
I mean, really a social
for sure.
experiment.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think I heard it put best that, you know, Eve is, you know, it's not like it's not Spaceships Online or whatever. Basically, it's just a galaxy simulator. I think that's a pretty good analogy for it.
Absolutely.
I mean, you kind of talked about content and stuff. One thing, you know, yeah, I think, you know, all these groups are kind of scared of getting started out and being small and how, you know, what are they going to do for content? But, you know, I think Spectre Fleet is another good. We got one of the guys that he does some fleets in Spectre Fleet himself and is always linked in those links, and it really can help, you know, smaller groups that can't always, you know, take out those PvP fleets to still get their guys active and out there shooting stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. When I started with my corporation, Speaker for the Dead, we almost exclusively just ran bombers bars because we didn't have a lot of skills in PvP, but we could fly a bomber. And so going out with bombers bar in the early days back in like 2015, going and blowing up carriers was an absolute blast, and it gave us, like Eilish was talking about, man, blood in the water.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, and then my wife just informed me, we did a podcast with her earlier today where she tried out the game, and it's this podcast, or the Twitch stream right now still says wife tries Eve, so I'll try to fix that later. I think people will probably figure it out pretty quick, though. So going on with all that nonsense, you know, I know, yeah, you know, I've been with you in a couple of those alliances in the past, different things like that, but kind of one of the things too I want to focus on with this podcast is just, you know, how these smaller corporations and alliances get started, and, you know, what you've learned from it and where you're trying to go. What's something you think you could pass on to, you know, someone that just started up their own corporation or the one person in it to, like, kind of get that off the ground?
Yeah, I would say find something that you're passionate about in the game, whatever that is. If you're a miner, be passionate with that. If you're a PvPer, be passionate with that. But find something you're passionate about, then go seek out the people that are also passionate about that thing, and they'll come to you. Just keep doing it. Just keep focusing on it and stay with it. People will come to you, and then do the best thing that you can do to provide content, because people love logging in and doing that thing that they enjoy. So there is a little bit of a responsibility as a leader or director or whatever. If you're going to be the leader of that, you're going to have to probably provide some content, and that's heavy as the crown there.
Yeah, for sure. Kind of just keep moving on here. Definitely don't have the flow of this down yet. We'll get it eventually. I know I have, I guess, kind of one of the reasons I'm asking this question is because I've thought about some things myself, but I mean, if CCP ever does listen to this, what's something you think that they could make a change to the game that would help organizations like yourself grow?
Man, that's tricky. I mean, because everybody has their thing, right? So, yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's easy to criticize CCP for all the things that they do or don't do, but here we are, decades after this game started, and it's still running. And I can't think of many games that have lasted that long, so they got a pretty good recipe so far. I think the best thing you can do is to get the new players in the game and link them up with other groups right away. So just getting people in corporations is how you get people to stay in Eve. So I would just say, like, let's make sure that new players understand how to get linked up with people with like interests and get them being social. Because, like you said earlier, it's a social game. So let's get that social interaction right off the bat.
Yeah. And I mean, thank goodness for things like Discord, you know, that allow us to talk with one another even easier. I know, like, I guess this isn't so much, I guess it kind of applies to it, but the interface, like, for, you know, setting up roles and stuff in a corporation, you know, setting up a new one myself and getting all those roles, man, it takes a lot of time. takes a lot of effort. There's just so much background work that goes into just kind of getting a corporation alliance half-ass running.
For sure, like the you and I were setting up bookmarks and access lists and all that kind of stuff. It's just like you got to really be on top of your game and understand the mechanics of that. And I know recently we were playing with trying to figure out the war eligibility system, and I emailed CCP and I was like, "Hey, what's the deal with this?" And they were like, "Well, it's intentionally ambiguous." And I'm like, "Okay, cool. Well, I guess I'll just figure it out myself."
Yeah, finally found. One of the wormhole groups. They had some passes they forgot to put in Halt Corp or something like that. I think they found a random.
It wasn't even a POS. It was a gantry, so it hadn't even become a POS yet, and that alone made you war eligible. But it doesn't show up in the structure list. So it literally said, Stay Feral has no structures, but they are war eligible. And so I had to go into detective mode.
Yeah, and I think a guy, he stumbled across it in space and it was like, I think I found the problem. Yeah, that was pretty interesting. Yeah, I think one thing I've noticed is just getting those new members and getting them on comms and talking with them for the first time. I've noticed if you can do that, the retention rate is so much higher.
Absolutely. Like you said, it's the social aspect. If we can connect, if we can make connections with people, we'll keep them and we can get them engaged and stuff. And if we can never get them on comms, I see those people are the ones that typically trickle off pretty soon. So it's all about getting people talking to each other.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, yeah, it's been really good having you. I don't know how much longer you can stay on. You're more than welcome to stay on with us. We kind of rambled through some other stuff Eilish has got. And then we'll definitely, if you'll be back on, we'll check in and kind of maybe every month or month and a half check back in and just kind of see how everything's progressing. And I'm going to kind of do little recaps at the end of every episode too, kind of following the alliance, so maybe people can kind of live along with us here.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate you guys having me on, man. I know I've flown with both of you guys, and fantastic. I really like the idea of your podcast. And how about this? What is it? It's October. By December, Stay Feral will have 20 corporation members. That's my goal.
Oh man, that's gonna herding cats. That's a good goal. I'm sure I can do it.
Yeah, herding cats.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome, and I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah.
I'm glad to have you, Ben.
All right. Well, I'm going to jump off. I look forward to talking to you guys again.
Yeah. Good having you, man.
Fly safe, sir.
Now I got to make a little adjustment here because I got your head split. And this is what happens when I really don't know what I'm doing. So for our next little segment, as I unscrew this up here, why don't you give us a little update on what's going on out there? What you've been up to yourself?
So I have been in a group called Out of the Blue. And honestly, it's been pretty awesome. Currently, we're doing a lot of mercenary work, stationed in Esoteria and helping AOM out with their coalition. And, just kind of trying to build our alliance, and, just pursue being the people that, are able to call themselves independent and just kind of do whatever we want, be that PvP. And, so far, this is our first really big contract that we've landed. And we've all been enjoying it very much so. I love the guys here, in Cholo, Into the Ether, run by Rot's Mineworker. Absolutely such a wonderful group, very tight-knit. I've never felt more adored and cared for in an alliance and a corporation than I have here.
Oh, for sure.
And it honestly, I feel like it's a very, very awesome place to grow as a player. Rots is very, very supportive. So recently I've just been trying to tackle the role of becoming an FC so I can help out him and some of the other main FCs like Cole Powered He's a very heavy hitter, and it's kind of infamous in a lot of places, especially in frat space.
Yeah, he's getting there pretty quick. I know when I was flying with you guys, yeah, he's a hell of a PvPer, that's for sure. I know he had pretty good experience, FC, and before he took his little break. Sounds like he's getting right back into the swing of it.
Yeah, he's a little firecracker, but awesome dude to fly with. And, my best friend, super great dude.
Yeah, that never hurts. Got a couple battle reports from us for down in your area?
Yeah, we have two. One of them was an AOM versus fraternity fight, and the second one is a AOM Dread Bomb versus Fire Coalition, Test, and Pandemic Horde. The last one was a pretty big fight over a Armor Fortizar timer.
Yeah, it looks like I got the Dread Bomb pulled up right now. Yeah, what is it? 31. Jeez.
That is
the 5?
That is the war brewing up in the north in Declan, Volta versus RHP. Recently, RHP started bluing a lot of the enemies of Volta, like banner logs. I think there was rumors of bluing Frat, which Volta has been having a lot of border tensions with, and it kind of was almost as if RHP was positioning themselves to turn to the other side, and knowing RHP, that's usually how they are. They're more along the lines of we'll buy your favor, and they switch sides based on who they think are going to win the war, and they are definitely paying the price for it. As you can see in this battle report, RHP are hemorrhaging a lot. I believe they lost around 32 bill in this one fight, and if you go over in that area, it's daily fights where Volta is harassing them, hitting their structures, their SOV. So it's an absolute bloodbath in that direction.
That one looks a little rough. Honestly, this kind of looks like something that's right up Volta's alley. I know they like these kind of.
Yeah, once Volta finally deployed their attack carrier fleet, which they are very, very skilled in, like that's their bread and butter.
Yeah.
And as you can see, RHP definitely ate the hammer.
Yeah. I mean, just looking at the number difference between the two sides on this one, it's pretty crazy. Those guys definitely hit way above their numbers. And what's the battle report you sent me here?
Which one are you looking at now?
So this is with Pandemic Horde and Dread versus Dread Bomb, looks like.
So this is in Esoteria. This was a defensive timer on Dread Bomb's side, and we were asked to come assist them. So AOM's coalition, which is Evictus, Vindictive, and out of the blue, because we were on contract to help support them, came to defend this timer. With a prior fight between Dread Bomb and Dread Bomb, Test, and Fire Coalition was a much smaller engagement, but Test and Test and Fire Coalition hemorrhaged very, very heavily. So this time they bat phoned Pandemic Horde and their blue blob, and the fight was very much a 2-to-1 fight against Dread Bomb, and I was in this fleet. It was an absolute slugfest, and the fact that we were able to do so well with the amount of numbers on grid that were fighting us, it was amazing. The FC that was running it was very calm. Everything was running smoothly according to plan. We did lose the armor timer, but definitely won the score.
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, that's pretty good. easily could have been one-sided. You guys pulled out a pretty good victory on that. Yeah, they lost a lot of scimitars and basilisks. It's a heavy bill.
A lot of this fighting was at 0.
Oh, you don't see that very often.
Yeah, it was very, very weird. The Munians warped on top of the Tengus and the Serbs, and we just slugged it out for 10 minutes at 0, just trading.
Were those Tengus, were those heavy missile fit?
Yeah, the Tengus and the Serbs were heavy AB fit.
Wow. Don't see many big T3C fleets out like that.
Yeah, I've been flying them recently, and they're honestly growing on me. I absolutely love them.
Yeah, I think it really helps too with the change of not losing skill points if you lose your ship.
Oh yeah, most definitely. More people are willing to bring out these T3 fleets.
Well, if we see a lot more battle reports like this, I think we'll be seeing a lot more out there finally. I thought we would have seen more T3C fleets after they made that change, but I think, I don't know, maybe it, what was it, when Pappy dropped them into Delve, for that final fight, and kind of just got wiped off the field by that Ishtar fleet.
Yeah.
Oh. Alright, then what's our last one here? Oh, looks like another Respect, Honor, Passion versus Volta.
Yeah, they've been fighting pretty regularly. Like, I look at all the Discord pings, and it's just kind of what RHP is looking at feeding into Volta's mouth today.
Yeah, that's.
I gotta give them props for trying, but I don't know what's going on their end. Like, if their pilots aren't experienced enough, or if they're just not used to the type of fighting that Volta is, kind of born in. But these fights are looking very much one-sided.
Yeah, I would say so. All right. Well, I think that's kind of all I got really on that side of things.
Oh, yes, sir. Yeah.
And then might as well talk about, I know some other podcasts and stuff have talked about it, but kind of looking forward to the new, capital sites that they're going to be having with the drones.
Yeah, the rogue drone capital sites. I honestly think it's going to bring. I think it's going to bring more Black Ops content. I feel like I feel like you're going to see a lot of that, a lot of roaming drops. It's either that or a lot more whaling fleets looking for these people running these specific sites.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm definitely looking forward to that, because that is something I'm very interested in doing, and I'd love to get some more cap kills under my belt.
Especially with the Butcher's Bill coming up for those. Hopefully.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think this. I see. I only see this. Increase in the price of dreadnoughts, and they're already kind of getting at a crazy price as it is. I mean, what?
Scarcity is supposed to end soon. I believe it's in this quadrant that it's supposed to end, but I'm kind of unsure about that. I don't do industry. I don't know how it works, so I just kind of leave that to all the industry guys in my alliance.
Yeah, I've kind of been trying to dabble with industry just a little bit, but yeah, I still really don't get the gist of it. I know it sounds like PI is kind of a bottleneck for the reason these are costing so much and taking so long to build. So I mean, even if they do put more minerals in space, it's going to be tough unless they change the production costs for these ships.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't really look like anyone's building them. All right. Well, I mean, that's kind of all we have for. This isn't going to be a super long episode, but it's been pretty fun so far. Yeah, then at the episode, we already talked with Doughboy today, but at the end of every episode, we kind of keep you guys in touch on what's going on with the Alliance, and then kind of my corp as well. Started a corp in Doughboy's Alliance, Dave Farrell, called Hostile Tendencies because Hostile Tendencies was taken. I did make to look on Zkill. Didn't really see a lot of activity from original name holders, so thought it would work, and I'm terrible about coming up with names. So just kind of getting all that situated. Finally got a bunch of ships moved in. Going to be starting up a nuclear training program to kind of show people how to live in low sec. and kind of got some classes put together. Got a couple good instructors. Gonna have a bunch of free frigates and stuff so that people that, you know, I think that's the biggest.
That's awesome.
Yeah, biggest problem with, you know, people going into low sec or it's just, you know, scared of the idea, but I don't know, I think it's so much funner than high sec, and unless, you know, we're nowhere near big enough to ever take null or get to take part in all those shenanigans out there. Well, I think that's, unless you got any closing statements or shout outs you want to give.
No, sir. Thank you for having me on. This has been pretty awesome.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, we'll see how the podcast goes. Definitely my first time at it, you know, trying to figure out. Until last week has kind of been just I don't know, blitzing to get through how, you know, Streamlabs works, and the biggest obstacle is just somehow managing to get 2 screens on here. And not super savvy,
Yeah.
but as people will see from when Doughboy left and had to do some cropping, you guys got to watch that. Yeah, so we got a little Discord set up. Social Infrastructure Podcast is our Discord. We'll be posting schedules on there, along with, obviously it's on Twitch. I'm going to try to get this, you know, on, what is it, Apple, Google Play, and Spotify. I'm not completely sure what goes on with that whole scenario, but if someone has a better idea or wants to help me, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think that's all we got right now. Hopefully, I think we got some pretty good guests coming on in the future, and then, you know, when we get a month or 2 in and start bringing some guests back, just give us some good content.
We've got Rot's Mine Worker.
Oh, nice.
Coming up. Wanted to do it.
That'll be a good one. Yep. Rots
he's excited.
God, that's awesome. Yeah, Rots is a good guy. Got to fly with him in Volta, and then, yeah, with Cholo and you guys before. Took a little break. Yeah, if you have a corporation or a small alliance that you would like to get on the podcast and talk about, maybe see if we can't help with recruitment or that kind of stuff, reach out. Titus Kyle Endgame, Alliance is Stay Feral, and Corporations Hostile Tendencies . And we'll see you next time.
All right.